All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vays, coming to you live this Wednesday morning, New York time, where it is 10:30 in the morning. The markets are fully open. We are going right to the charts. We are staying with the short format and not many announcements at all today, other than thank you for voting. Dan Larimer is starting his fifth scam. That's not a big deal. That's a non-news event. Thank you all for voting in our who had the best hair pre 25 years old. And I am still winning. I hope this isn't a biased poll because I'm the one that sent it out. But I do think that I deserve to win this one pretty much versus anyone in the crypto space. Let's go to the charts. Here is the weekly chart. Our weekly chart remains in this bullish movement towards the next MRI top. We had a bit of a scare last week, which at the moment simply looks like a bad week that could be completely covered by the end of this week. We're only halfway through the week and we're already halfway back up that candle. We will need to look at the lower level timeframes to see what's really going on. I drew this arrow several weeks ago. I have no reason to walk away from this arrow. I am looking for that third consecutive MRI top coming in at the end of March at a price of over $70,000. The daily chart is the one I am focused on the most. Yes, this is the end of extension B, but it is also the candle that gave me this green star. Green stars to me indicate that there is potential for continued upside into an MRI top. Stars are not a default of the MRI indicator. You have to turn them on manually. It is still a total beta. And I still need to double check a lot of that code. Is just something that I'm thinking of. I used to say 1 above a 2, 3 above a 2. Now it can all be automated with the stars. The star would have shown up the moment we crossed yesterday's high. That's also when we crossed the 20-period moving average. The 20-period moving average is now rising. It is above the 50 and above the 128-day moving average. A close above this moving average with a full candle above this moving average would mean I would need to be fully bullish Bitcoin, fully invested in Bitcoin. And I am considering redeploying my remainder of my cash back into my bullish Bitcoin position. Today, the market is already trading. GBTC is trading at a gross negative premium of almost 4%. This does create a pretty damn good environment. I can't see it going that much negative because there has to be people willing to arbitrage free money for 5% because you can short Bitcoin at spot on the open market and buy GBTC because GBTC is fully backed by Bitcoin and it has a 2% annual fee, but that's 2% for the year. So you are losing 2% if you hold it for an entire year. But I do expect the GBTC premium to go back into the positive range. So that's literally 3 to 5% that somebody could make just by arbitraging Bitcoin. Someone's going to do it. So I do expect the premium to go back into the green. The hourly chart gave us a little bit of a pullback over the last few hours. I don't think there is that much to be concerned about here on the hourly chart. This was the critical line. You can see how this line crossed right after an MRI top. I would have, of course, been cautious. I would not have bought on this candle or the next candle, but this green star would have shown up the moment we started trading early on in this candle at the 3 a.m. hour, New York time, March 3rd. I believe today is March. Yeah, I don't know what date I said earlier. I think I just said Wednesday. And we are pulling back. I can see this pullback going back to the area of the breakout. back to just below 50,000. But at this moment, I am fairly bullish on even the 1 hour chart of Bitcoin, even though we have dropped. The 4-hour chart of Bitcoin is also bullish based on the break of the prior swing high. Now, as I said earlier, you also see the golden cross right there on a 4-hour chart. The green star would have also shown up on the 4-hour chart just before we broke the $50,000 area. I love the fact that we closed at a pretty significant high right here. Now remember, this is the 4-hour chart, and this was the ultimate $58,000 high. And this is the highest 4-hour close we had since this giant cluster. If I extend this line, I wonder what happens. And I can actually lower this line a little bit to the tops of those candles. Like there. And this creates a very good environment. I am very slowly becoming fully bullish across all time frames. And if I am fully bullish across all time frames, it means I am anticipating the break of the all-time high that takes us significantly higher. I still want to wait for this candle to close. I don't like this big wick. So right now, if we close today above $51,000, I am very bullish into the rest of the month, basically starting tomorrow. That is the Bitcoin price update. Gold continues to be a basket case, and I remain bearish on gold. The S&P 500 is pulling back a little bit. It is consolidating. I don't see that much of a concern right now in the S&P 500. This to me still looks like more bullish picture than bearish. On a weekly scale, this is also not that much to be concerned about. But on a monthly scale, we are coming off an MRI monthly top. That means this currently is a month you should not be entering bullish trades into Bitcoin based on the monthly version of the MRI. But if next month we are breaking the high of this month, I become very, very bullish. People are asking me to take a look at DXY. I will go ahead and do that, but not off the NASDAQ chart. I'm still curious about Best Buy. Best Buy was looking good yesterday. I didn't get a chance to look at it during market hours. We are pulling back today. So what does that mean? If I did take on the trade of Best Buy, which I did not do, off of this MRI buying opportunity, I would not panic yet. Here's how I would trade the MRI. I would have absolutely bought on this MRI top. Ideally, I would have already made a bunch of money shorting Best Buy off the MRI top. Sorry, I would buy this MRI bottom. So, whoa, what is that? So just a quick tutorial, which is what my educational videos do. Oh, didn't mean to draw that. I would be comfortable in buying at any point during the MRI bullish candle. So let's split the middle of that candle, and I'm going to make this green. That would be my buying opportunity. Where would I set my initial stop loss? Very, very important. The initial stop loss, I would set it just below the swing low, which is also below the MRI support line right there. That would be my initial stop loss. As you can see, we have not yet hit the stop loss. Now, one of Tone Vays's rules that you would learn if you are interested in trading tutorials, you want to go over to the on-demand videos, and in my risk and position management video, which is much cheaper if you buy these two together with this one, I explain my rule number 3 of trading. And you don't have to follow my rules. You should have your own rules. But my rule number 3 of trading, if I am earning more than I am risking, and I was risking $1.43, assuming that's where I entered. If I entered higher, then I would be higher. I would be setting a break-even stop loss after I've made what I was risking. Did I make $1.45? I did make $1.45. At one point, I would have made $2.64. So I would have absolutely set a break-even stop loss. And had I set a break-even stop loss, I would have already exited my trade at just above break-even, unless I would have lowered that stop loss to somewhere earlier in that candle, or I would have just exited with a bit of a profit. Depends on how big my position was. But in either case, had I entered here, I would no longer be in this bullish trade on Best Buy. However, if I had entered, say, at the end of the day, at the top of that candle, my risk would have been significantly larger. My risk would have been, instead of $1.45, for whatever percentage that would be, my risk would have been almost $2. But it's $2 from a higher point in time. So it would have been $2 from here, which I may or may not have reached. It really depends on where I entered the position. So if I was not making more than I was risking, I would not be raising that stop loss to break even, which means I would still be in this trade and I would be down in this trade, but I would not lower my stop loss. I would leave it as is. So we will check on Best Buy again tomorrow. And this is where my stop loss would remain if I got in at a higher point. But if we break this line at any point later today, I, of course, would take the loss on this trade, a very small loss. And hopefully this little loss came after this giant gain in the short position. But I would be cheating if I said I would have held this position through earnings. I, of course, would not. I would have exited the day before earnings. So had I shorted Best Buy, my entry would have been somewhere here and my exit would have been somewhere over there. That is the safe way to trade. Okay. I'm gonna shoot. All right, I'm gonna have to go back to Best Buy, but I want to take a look at the dollar and then we're gonna call it a day. Here is the dollar. I remain very bearish on the dollar. People are telling me about an MRI top. Was there an MRI top on a weekly? There was not. I know there wasn't. There is something going on a monthly chart. There is an MRI buy on a monthly chart on the dollar. I am, of course, very bearish on America. Texas is trying to save America by letting their businesses open and removing the mask mandates. Florida has been trying to save America for the last 6 months or so. I know other states don't have mask mandates like North and South Dakota, but those states generally don't matter because they have more cows than people. Yeah, so hopefully other states will also try to save America. Oh, people are also asking me about the 10-year yield. We can take a look at that real quick. So I did live. We're not finishing this yet. Heads up, we moved the watch list. Okay, I don't know what that means, but it doesn't really matter. Bonds yields, look at the 10-year yield. I believe this is, nope, that's the 30, that's the 5. This should be the 10-year future. Nope, that's also the 5. There, it says 10 right there. There's the 10-year yield. We are on a monthly top and a 10-year yield. It's very possible the yield will flip. Or about the weekly, we are on a top on a weekly 10-year yield. Yeah, so interest rates might be going down. We're about the daily. Well, the MRI on a daily is going to be a little bit trickier because it doesn't really fluctuate. Oh, wow, look at that. So there was a daily MRI top on the yield on Well, what the hell is going on? Where are the rest of the dates? That's weird. Do I not have? Where's today's data? So there was an MRI top right there on February 25th on a weekly scale. That was last week. And yeah, I would not be long yields right now. So if I'm expecting the yield to fall, then I'm expecting bond prices to rise. So that means, and there it is. So here's the weekly TLT, the bond ETF, and I would expect that to reverse. So right now, I would be considering going long TLT, the long-term bond ETF. and I'm expecting the yield to pull back a little bit, maybe a 1 to 4 candle correction, and then we reevaluate. All right, guys, as promised, I'm keeping these videos short. A peek at the mempool. We just cleared a block with 50 sat per byte on average, but it's been 23 minutes since the prior block, unfortunately. So it's gone up again. I'm really hoping that the mempool clears up a little bit going into the weekend. As long if we're going into the weekend, in this light blue zone, that could be very good, and we can clear right into the blue over the weekend. That's it for me. If you're interested in trading, good. I didn't dox anything bad. If you're interested in trading, please check out my trading tutorials. And if you're interested in the MRI, that will be right here. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. I will be updating everyone very soon on both unconfiscatable, which we are negotiating with the venue, and the financial summit, which we are also negotiating with a venue, still trying to bring both conferences to the world in 2021. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and see you all on the next one.